Hi, this is Chuck Oliver. Welcome to this week's Hidden Wealth Solution Review. How to not owe Uncle Sam big time. So for those of you that are committed to saving taxes and you want to learn how much lower your taxes can still be in 2023, listen up. Whether you're a few years away from retirement, maybe you're decades away from retirement, maybe you're already in retirement, and some of you may even be drawing down these required minimum distributions forced upon you, or you're just drawing down your accounts in general, and you're realizing, wow, especially those of you that have been hit by this, wow, taxes don't necessarily go down in retirement. I think of the articles I talk about from Forbes and Kiplinger and so forth on Hidden Wealth Radio. Don't miss Hidden Wealth Radio if you can avoid it. I want to give you things that you can do right now. See, the Tax Cut and Jobs Act that went under the Trump tax era cuts, right, that went effective, actually passed in December of 2017, all the way back. It's hard to believe, 6 years ago. Those are coming to an end, and they could still be moved up, but they're set to sunset in approximately 2 years. Well, there's a lot that can be done in 2 years, but boy, folks, 2 years can tend to fly by, just like this year to me flew by. So what can you do to still take advantage of how much lower your taxes can be in 23, right? How to get out in front of this in 24, stay ahead of it in 25. And if they make the decision to move up the Tax Cut and Jobs Act to sunset sooner, here's what I want you to really think about. Everyone tells you that you're going to retire and be in a lower tax bracket. I've even seen people that are talking heads in our industry say, taxes shouldn't be a big deal. People typically retire into a much lower tax rate, etc. I'm talking to those of you that have worked hard and saved hard in typically the ticking tax time bombs like the IRAs and 401k accounts. The government you have an IOU to the IRS, and they have got a big lien. Some of you have liens of 37% today. Well, here's what I want you to really think about. If you knew that you could not have to be in a 28 bracket while you're in a 24 bracket, or not jumping from a 22 to a 25 bracket, or even a 24 to a 33% bracket, like a lot of people are going to get exposed to when the tax rates across the brackets change. The big one that we're all going to be exposed to, which is why I think everyone's taxes in some way, shape, or form are going to go up if they don't do something while they still can, is the standard deduction that many people take is going to be cut in half. And basically half. Trump basically came in with the tax cuts and almost doubled the standard deduction. Right now, married filing jointly this year is almost $28,000. It goes to almost $30,000 next year. Well, you cut 30 in half, or even 28 in half. That's another 14 or 15,000 that you're exposed to of taxable income. Well, I'm going to talk to you about Mike and Christy, and I'll leave you with this. Mike and Christy, they said, look, it is a very busy time of the year, but we are very concerned, and we want to get out in front of this because we're only a few years away of when the government has a mandate and can force us with penalty if we don't take these distributions. And we really feel like we kind of waited too long. And in her particular case, they had a taxable event with her business and so forth. And they said, we want to get out in front of this, but we really want to take advantage of converting to Roth IRA. And one of the articles that's actually out of Forbes that I talk about on Hidden Wealth Radio talks about this is the time. For those of you who have been strong savers in IRA, this is the time to convert to Roth. And what it goes on to basically say is that you're automatically going to get pushed into a higher bracket when the Tax Cut and Jobs Act sunsets. And you're automatically going to pay more tax when the standard deduction gets cut in half. But with all this 1 to 2, now this year, technically $2 trillion of deficit spending, our national deficit almost at $34 trillion and counting, and no end in sight with everybody that's been laid off with how supposedly wonderful Bidenomics has been. It's not just, as this Mr. Keebler, a CPA of Green Bay, Wisconsin, talks about, who he's helped people with 8-figure IRAs save millions in taxes, and not even using a strategy I'll teach you Tuesday at retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com that Mike and Christy used. And here's what they did. I'm going to talk about Mike, Christy, and Barb real quick, and I'll leave it at that. Mike and Christy used a little known deduction with alternative wealth solutions, things that are outside the status quo, not the big box store brokerages that kind of shove everybody like cattle and follow the same crowd. But things that, like, for example, that do better in a high inflationary period, have targeted returns of 8 to 12% annually, but also have an 80% tax deduction. Now, that deduction dissipates with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act as it continues, obviously, to its slow end right here, quick end technically, depending on how you look at it in a couple years. So the deductions are the highest now. And in that particular case, they were able to convert with our strategy along with our tax team. See, the big difference is having tax planning. Strategic tax planning is different from tax preparation or tax general accounting. And they were able to convert $100,000 of their IRA to Roth and pay 0 taxes. Now, there were Roth conversion taxes, but the little known deduction offset the tax liability dollar for dollar. Same thing with Barb, I'll leave you with. Barb was very concerned, high income earning family. It would make no sense to go out and do Roth conversion while they're still working if they didn't have a little known deduction offset. I'll teach you Tuesday. She was able to convert $300,000 of her and her husband's IRAs to Roth at 0 tax with the deduction offset. Folks, you work hard for your money. If you're serious and committed about saving taxes and how much lower you want to see how much lower your taxes can be and still in 2023, go to retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. If you just want to get a head start in being sure you're tax smart and get on this, especially early into 24, definitely ideally before 25, especially if they move up the cuts even sooner, go to retirementprotected.com, folks. You work hard for your money. Imagine no more unnecessary taxes and owing Uncle Sam a fortune. You can control that. Retirementprotected.com, retirementprotected.com.